Okay, so I am back with another episode. I think I may only be able to get one in, but Addicted to Monsters, Chapter 4, Part 5. So we are still talking about DC Comics. And I'll just let you know, you can find all of the chapters in a more organized way on my YouTube. So you can go to Darling Nikki Grind's YouTube, and everybody who has been thanking me for sharing my story, and who have been telling me about just how they can relate to different ones, whether it's here on TikTok or over there on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you. Also, everybody that has been subscribing to my YouTube that came from Bourbon Bougie. Hey girl, hey. All right, so chapter 4, part 5. We're still talking about DC Comics, the ex-fiance. So living in DeSoto, Texas, I think the last thing I talked about was basically the ring came on. But the ring went on and the mask went off. Homeboy, like, it was almost like, I gotcha. Like that song, give me here. You never should have promised it. Give me here. Now hold it. Hold it. So, yeah, I gave it here. I mean, ring went on, his mask came off, plans went into full effect. And I remember feeling some anxiety about things and starting to see a lot more of it. For instance, we were going to Concord Church. That's where I met him, through that church. And we're going on a regular basis, which I thought was cool. The church was amazing, great ministry. But he would always make a habit of pointing something out. And to this day, I haven't been able to really quite put my finger on what that was about. I have my suspicions, but I don't have any concrete proof of this. So I'm going to be careful with what I say, and I'm going to try to stick just to the facts and not say anything else. When we would go to church, and when we would be out at restaurants and stuff too, but especially at church, he was always preoccupied with pointing out all the men in his vicinity that were gay. And it seemed to really just bother him. Like, he couldn't stand them, and he would say things about it too. Like, look at this punk. I always thought that was weird because he was preoccupied with it. That was one thing. Another thing was, although we are engaged, whenever I'm a planner, I'm about my business. Okay. I carry a planner. I write everything down. I have a plan for my life, and I schedule things. Okay. Like, I'm just about my business, about every part of my life. So we're supposed to be getting married. Shouldn't we be discussing wedding plans? Where are we going to get married? When? How, or do you want to do it at your father's church? Because his father is a bishop of a church in Dallas, and he's on the radio too. I think the church is called Ideal something. And we went there just only a couple of times, which I thought was interesting that he wasn't really going to his dad's church. But I can relate. I wasn't really fooling with my dad's church a whole lot either when I was in Oklahoma. But I'm like, are we going to get married there? Like, what are we doing? And he would seem to avoid these conversations a lot. And I'm like, okay, that's really weird. And whenever I would question him about things, like, for instance, the job, now we've got this one vehicle, and you are always asking me to drop you off at work, or you got to drop me off. And it seemed like what's the plan here? Like, this whole one car, like, didn't you have a car and you said that it needed to be fixed, but you're getting attitude when I ask you about it. Like, why are we sharing one car? Like, this. So I'm asking questions about our life together, and just normal questions. And anytime I would ask him questions, he would get so aggravated. And he also seemed to just become this, like, grumpy old man, like, just attitudinal all the time and brooding about stuff. And it was so weird because it's like, we just got engaged. This should be the happiest time of your life. And, you went from sending me sonnets and poems that I Googled the poems later on, because you know how after you break up, you just want to look at everything. And the poems were fake as hell, y'all.
Y'all, I'm officially a YouTube partner, and I just launched memberships. Join my community for exclusive perks like behind-the-scenes content, custom badges, and shout-outs. Hit that join button and let's level up together, because we're just getting started, baby.
But you're sending me poems and talking about how you're the lucky one. You're so lucky you found me and so happy and everything. And then it's like, now we're engaged. And it's like, oh my God, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, something You got a demon or something. So I struggled with that. And I just kind of felt like, you know what? And this is not healthy. This is not healthy, but this is where I was at that time. I've already been divorced once. You know, my ex-husband, he is remarried to somebody else, and he looks like things are going so successful for him. I need to compete. I don't want it to seem like I was the reason why. And I just need everything to look good and be good. So I need to work with this. I need to work with this. We go to church. So there are some good things. He's making good money, or at least I thought he was. So I just need to just, I already have one kid. I'm already a single mother. The way that I was raised, I was, kind of raised up in this way where there's this idea that if you're a single mother, that there's something wrong with you, that there's a huge stigma, that this big scarlet letter you need to wear, and you can't. And I also was of the mind that I couldn't, there was this overwhelming feeling in the back of my mind that I tried to fight against, but I often at that time did not win the fight, which is why I think I was so quick to get with him so quickly. Although I went down there to make my own way in life, there was still something in me. And there was something that I was raised in that at my core, always told me that I shouldn't be alone. I need to have a husband. I need a man. I need to have a covering. And not only that I shouldn't be alone, but that I cannot make it alone. So, I wrestled with that, and, it led me to be susceptible to just, giving into his advances, taking his very, very speedy, and definitely shady proposal, and, trying to make that something more beautiful than it actually was. So we're together. My godparents decided that I think one of them wound up getting a better job some hours away, and they had a beautiful home, and they put it on the market to rent. But he said, and I don't know if I covered this in the last video, but he said to them, I want to rent this house. She's already here. Nikki's already here in this house. I want to rent this house, and so that we can just be here. And I thought that was kind of odd, but I'm like, okay, he's got that house. Maybe he wants us to have another house over here. Their house was, fairly comparable, so it wasn't like it was a huge step down or anything. I thought it was odd, but I was like, okay, fine. It's a separate house. I'm already here. It's nice. I forgot what he said about, his other house, which was his mama's house, which I found that out later on. But whatever he said at the time, it made sense to me. And, so I saw him give them some cash for the down payment. I saw him, go online to change some utilities, I thought, or, actually, he asked me to put one of the utilities in my name, another red flag, but I did. And then he signed a lease with them, however, and I think one of the utilities was in my name, one was in his. So I still kind of felt like, okay, I've got a little skin in the game, but he's still taking care of things. And admittedly, I just remembered something else. He all of a sudden didn't have a phone. I had a cell phone plan. And it was just mine. But then all of a sudden, he convinced me to take out like 3 or 4 lines on my cell phone plan and let one of them be his, and I think one of them be his daughter's. And I did it because I was so in love, y'all. I was, and he's good for it. He's going to pay the bill. What's the big deal? I didn't have any reason, I thought, to believe that I should just really like CYA, like cover my assets with this man. I mean, I'm wearing a ring on the finger. I'm wearing his ring on my finger. We're going to church together. I'm seeing him with cash all the time. He's making good money, he says. I do know he has a job. Although he lied about what the job was with a Target Corporation. It didn't seem like my life and my stability was at stake. And oh, baby. Whew. Nikki Boo Boo was wrong. I was so wrong. All right. Let me cut it because it's getting close to 9 minutes, and these things go for about 10 minutes max. So I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to go and do the next part.